In a competition amongst multiple media agencies in Nigeria, these two young Nigerians emerged winners, and they'll be representing Nigeria at the Cannes Young Lion Festival, Young Lions Media Global Competition in Cannes, France, later this year, June to be specific. Ladies and gentlemen, we have winners on the set. Make welcome Joko, and Emmanuel Adediran of mediaReach OMD. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you very much.
On winning the competition. What does it feel like being introduced as winners? What was the experience like in a keenly contested competition like the Young Lions? Could you put up to speed about what the competition was about and what do you guys do to emerge winners?
Thank you. Ladies first.
Okay. So the competition, we get a brief for the competition, and it's usually for a non-governmental organization. So it's usually on a pro bono basis. So this year our brief was for something that is really a challenge in Nigeria. It's drug abuse. So we had to come up with a media strategy to create awareness for drug abuse in Nigeria. So that's basically what it was about.
And what kind of stages did you go through?
Okay, so as a practice in mediaReach, you're going through internal rounds. So the best people in the internal rounds go to the Nigerian leg.
Did you and Emmanuel work as a team?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay, so the whole idea was together, and I'm sure it was keenly contested. How many agencies participated?
There were 9 agencies.
9 teams in all.
Yeah.
And it's important to also note that we had just 24 hours to come up with the winning strategy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was...
I think we got briefed on a Monday.
Yeah.
And then we had to submit our entry by Tuesday.
That's
at 6
amazing.
PM.
And I noticed, I mean, looking at the history, there are lots of people from mediaReach and they have emerged winners in the past. So I guess there's something about mediaReach that is special. So talking about mediaReach, which brands do you individually work on? And just for those that are interested in a career in advertising, just let us know what you do. What's a typical day at the office like?
Okay.
Emmanuel.
Well, working as a media planner. I'm actually a media planner with mediaReach, and I work on some award-winning brands. An example of them is the Tolerant brand, which is Indomie, that won the Brand of the Year 2016.
Great.
Yeah. So, well,
so there's more to when you say you're a media planner.
Yeah.
It's not just where to put ads and all of that.
No,
there's a creative side to it, obviously.
I'd say it's more of a media strategist. So it brings that creativity in you to play, because you're working to ensure that your client's communication gets to the intended target audience as effectively and cost efficiently as possible.
Great.
So we have lots of tools that we use, to come up with our strategy. And a typical work day, of course, you get a brief from your clients, you get into the data part of it, and you analyze the data to ensure that you're delivering an optimal media plan. And at the end of the day, when the campaign goes live, the joy of it is when your client and exactly are satisfied with what it is. That means your communication, your campaigns have an important ROI. It generates ROI for your clients.
Fantastic. Yeah. And when you say ROI, what does that mean?
Return on investment, that's what I mean.
Oh, ROI.
Yeah.
I see, return on investment. Joko, let's go back to your winning. You said you guys had 24 hours.
Yeah.
You got the brief in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're always prepared. I'm sure you didn't see it as a competition, like, oh, another day at the office. How did you guys achieve this feat? And where do you get your creative juices from, especially in a very tough environment like Lagos? The Renaissance artists, the great composers of the past will go to a very serene place by the mountains in Switzerland and meditate to have ideas. But you're Lagos, you're hearing all this Okada, all this noise, and how do you do it?
Okay, so when we got the brief, it was a very nice brief, and it was something we could relate to it. I think that's why we became even more creative. We had to lock ourselves in an office, and we had a lot of back and forth, like really writing down, okay, this is insight. So insight is like the center of it. What is it that is peculiar to these people? Why do they take drugs and all of that? So that was the insight led to our creativity, and we also had to think about their media touch points. So these people taking drugs, what kind of media did they consume?
And you didn't really have time to go on the streets and
No. It was
research.
It was insight. It was really insight. It was like we had to think about the touch points. So what do these people do? They like music. They like entertainment. They watch movies. So with those information, we're able to come up with a compelling strategy.
And what was the strategy, if you don't mind sharing?
Okay, cool. So
stay true to you.
Stay true to you. It's like be the best version of who you are. You don't need to turn to drugs to enhance yourself. Yeah, that was the big idea for us.
And the best means of reaching them, of course, what young people, television.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was part of it. So it was integrated, right? So in 2016, Nollywood didn't face any recession. A lot of people still watched a lot of movies, and you know the entertainment industry in Nigeria is really booming. So what we had was the idea was to have like an all-star movie that features everyone you love talking to you to stay true to yourself and be the best version of who you are.
Fantastic. And I wish you guys all the best in France.
Thank you.
So I learned mediaReach came first, second and third in this competition. And it's been, I mean, you guys, it's been a clean sweep for mediaReach over the years. It means you're like a very top agency. What's in the water they give you guys to drink? What's in the environment? What makes you all winners?
I think it's the culture, and our attitude to work. In mediaReach, I would say it with all sense of humility and confidence at the same time that the kind of training we receive in mediaReach, I think is second to none in this part of the world.
That's fantastic. And I think the work environment too is laid back and relaxed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
like
sure.
you could be yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course, you could be yourself.
Exactly.
Great. Emmanuel, I learned you've won this before and gone to France. So this is what you do. If you just need a holiday, you wait for the competition to come and, okay, I'm winning this and we're going to France. This is your second appearance in France. Yeah. Can you describe your experience?
The last time.
Yeah, the last time.
It was a lot to take in, being the very first time I, found myself there. We had contestants from over 40 countries represented, at Cannes last year. And the experience for me was really insightful. Aside, the competition and all of that, the fact that you're able to see young people and professionals like yourself, do things and collaborate in an environment like that, was really life-changing for me. And when I got back, it was a totally different ball game. And to your question as to why I decided to go in a second time, well, it's never the same, of course, And for this year, it was actually the fact that you had not just the last year was just Nigeria, but this time around it was Nigeria as well as West Africa. So of course it's
more
competition. It's bigger.
Fantastic. And Joko, it's your first time going to France, and I'm sure you'd want to be like Emmanuel and keep going back. What are your expectations, and how did you feel?
Okay, I'm excited about it. I've always followed Cannes on social media. And I've always wanted to be part of it, and I think the opportunities are a lot. You have networking, you learn, you interact with people from more advanced countries that do media in a better way or in a more advanced way. So that's basically what I'm...
So it's not just the competition per se, it's the opportunity to, the fact that you're representing the whole country says a lot. So what happens in France, Emmanuel? What's the competition format?
Okay, let me just put it in perspective. France, the Cannes Creativity Week is like the Grammys of media and advertising across the world. So you have the best of the best, coming there, and then you have award-winning works, that will be screened by a jury and all of that. And there are different categories, So getting there alone, it's like the same way you would say you're celebrating good creative works and all of that from different walks of life. So there's no restriction. If your work is fantastic, be it from Asia, Europe, America, wherever it is, it's put out there and, you're celebrated on the global.
And then you're with the best of the best.
Exactly. So the inspiration, that comes from that alone, you go back fully ready to take on,
So what do you think we need to do as a country in Nigeria to ensure that we have quality and impactful representation at this global event, and to improve the general space of creativity and advertising? Because you go to universities. If you don't mind, what did you guys study first degrees?
Well, I studied parasitology, but I found a flair for advertising right from when I was on campus.
Joko?
So I knew
I studied marketing.
Oh, okay, that's still quite close to parasitology. That's way off. And I noticed that even in mass communication departments, everybody wants to be a TV star or a radio star. People don't even know there's a huge industry called advertising and all of that. How do we make people more interested in this and also improve the industry in Nigeria?
Okay, it's a collective effort. You know, I think we as agencies, we also have an important role to play. Before I ventured into advertising, it was a space that I really didn't know much even existed. You know, you would most likely have to be referred by someone or someone that's already in the system. Yeah. So I think mediaReach is doing a whole lot in putting it out there to let people know that you can actually pursue a rewarding career in advertising in Nigeria. And talking about taking it to the next level, I think it's just local, having a global view, do you understand, and still making sure that you're relevant in your local markets.
Fantastic. You're going to France for the first time to represent Nigeria. What would you say is your assessment of the advertising industry in Nigeria?
Okay.
Are we there yet?
No, we're not.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if you're
there.
Okay, Nollywood goes to Toronto International Film Festival, all those film festivals. We have a screening of Nigerian movies. This is a huge leap from where they used to be. And then mediaReach, you guys have been doing this for quite some time. So you're there with the best. So what do we need to do?
Okay. So
or what's your general assessment?
We aren't particularly there yet, but then eventually we will. Technology is also a very, very
What's
crucial.
holding us back? Is it NEPA?
No, it's just technology, also data. So in Nigeria, it's really, really hard to get precise data because data drives most of the things we do. It's
especially a course like the drug abuse.
Yes, exactly.
You need statistics.
You need statistics, exactly, and that's really, really difficult to get in this part of the world. So I think that's a drawback. But then with the right things put in place, I guess soon, very soon, we'll
Thank you very much, guys. It's been awesome talking to you, and congratulations once again. I wish you guys all the best at the 2007 Young Media Alliance competition in France. Do make us proud, and I'm sure we'll have you back here when you return. All the best. You're still watching Hello Nigeria, and like I said, it's Easter, and the team and I went out a while ago to a fancy Italian restaurant, and we're up to something. In case you're wondering what to make, this is the period you could pick an idea or two from this. Do enjoy our Taste It segment.